we can get started if it's okay for everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you're joining us from Europe or beyond. My name is Elaine Hanlon, and I am representing RREUSE this morning. We are a network of social enterprises involved in reuse, repair and recycling. And we're actually very lucky to be joined here today by three amazing panelists who are going to be sharing their stories about resilience in the social economy. And fortunately, or unfortunately, we had actually planned this session before kind of COVID hit. So really we want to speak also about kind of resilience in general. And we're really interested to hear from you as participants as well. So welcome those who are joining us. You can please use the chat function for any questions you might have, or also for maybe comments as well, maybe some projects that you're working on that some of our speakers might like to hear. And we'll have lots of time at the end to have some questions and answers and also hear from you. So please don't let the online barriers distract me. We're really happy to hear from you and to hear any of your thoughts. So like I said, we're here representing RREUSE. We're the network of social enterprises involved in reuse, repair, recycling. And we also advocate for circular economy and social economy at an EU level, so at a policy framework and also at member state level. So for those who are joining who haven't heard much about social or circular economy, today's session, Building a Resilient and Sustainable Economy, we're going to be giving some examples of the circular economy in action, and also how the circular economy and social economy work well together and alongside one another. So what I'm going to do is basically, before I introduce our speakers, who are actually joining us today from France, from Scotland, and from Greece, I'm going to share with you a video that's actually from our members. And it's basically giving an idea of what they've been up to. And it will just kind of give us a sense of what you can expect. We're going to be looking at themes like inclusion in terms of digital inclusion, in terms of including marginalized. We're also going to be speaking about sustainability, so looking at transport and circular economy and social economy at large. So without further ado, I'm going to play the video and hopefully technology will be in our favor. So please bear with me. The video will be for about 5 minutes or so, and then we are going to come back and I'll introduce the speakers and we'll have a lovely discussion for the next 45 minutes or so. Okay, so please enjoy.
We ensure resilience and sustainability through multi-activity reuse productions and services, both on digital equipment and smartphones. We are dedicated to creating economic value to nourish our social objective, that is creating work conditions for jobless people and invisible people suffering from exclusion. For example, in the 2020 lockdown, we have participated in many operations linked to break poverty and fight against digital exclusion. We proposed laptops to students so that they can prepare their exams. We've sent hundreds of smartphones to homeless people so that they can join the emergency services.
Hello everyone, this is Shifter from Vienna. Let me introduce you to the Mask Force. The Mask Force is a corporation of around 30 social enterprises in Austria that switched to manufacturing reusable face masks, just like this one, during the COVID-19 crisis. So the Mask Force not only makes sure that we stay healthy and look good by wearing these masks, but they also create and safeguard jobs primarily for people who were disadvantaged and people who were out of the labor market before. The Mask Force organizations also work together with regional businesses and regional suppliers so that they can keep their employment, and most of the material that is used in the masks is upcycled. So the Mask Force is a shining example of how social enterprises work together in the crisis to find ecologically but also socially inclusive ways of employment. Keep safe and healthy, everyone. Greetings from Vienna.
Προερχόμενοι ήδη από κοινωνικά αποτελεσμένες λογισμικές ομάδες, άστεγοι, Ρωμά, αποφυλακισμένοι, πρόσφυγες, άτομα με ψυχικές διαταραχές.
Climax Plus has developed a support network for vulnerable persons in our member communities. This network includes our COVID support program and an effective action plan for Roma communities in West Africa since the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis. In this specific region, there are a lot of Roma settlements and camps of more than 10,000 people, but unfortunately, there have been no official interventions regarding the COVID-19 situation in these communities, neither by the central government nor by the local authorities. So we intensely trained a group of 8 Roma as social health mediators, and they provide basic health services door to door to these settlements, inform on the protection measures in the Romani language, and provide basic disinfection services because our COVID-19 response also included the development of an innovative disinfection service that was only not used for both purposes, but in order to serve and be utilized by vulnerable groups such as Roma communities and town service users.
Also, Climax Plus Internet Radio is present and proactive throughout the COVID-19 crisis with mental health themed radio shows.
Ανάπτυξη βιώσιμων και αναπτυσσόμενων επιχειρηματικών δραστηριοτήτων από το Climax Plus της απαιτήσεις κοινωνικής και πράσινης οικονομίας αποτελούν την απάντηση στον αποκλεισμό των ευπαθέσεων κοινωνικών ομάδων με σαφή χαρακτηριστικά κοινωνικής χρησιμότητας και με τομείς χειραφέτησης.
The Rediscovery Centre is the National Centre for the Circular Economy in Ireland. As government restrictions changed to respond to COVID, we have had to change our services to match. We have developed all our core education and training services to have virtual offerings. This has opened up a whole new market of customers for us, and not only has kept us very busy, but it's kept us on mission to help facilitate Irish society transition to a circular economy. And a huge range of new customers we may not have reached before are now very happy and engaged. We've also developed our website to allow us to sell products and services online. We can continue to trade and trade to a wider audience. In a way, by trying to survive in these times, we've progressed and developed areas we wanted to develop before, but COVID made us do them fast and do them well. Most of these things will continue to be an important part of our business in the future, hopefully a more normal future. Thank you.
The Edinburgh Makery is a social enterprise based on Leith Walk in Edinburgh. Our mission is to reduce waste by taking in unwanted second-hand goods that can be repaired and reused, and refurbishing these to redistribute amongst the community. We also teach people repair and reuse skills to encourage a sustainable circular economy. The Edinburgh Makery are now able to bring back our workshops to teach people valuable repair and reuse skills, encourage creativity, and promote positive mental health. In the future, we also hope to offer valuable work experience through apprenticeships, internships, work placements, and green jobs. We also hope to be able to partner and collaborate with other social enterprises, businesses, and organisations in Edinburgh, Scotland, and beyond to promote a culture of repair and reuse.
There's some feedback on someone's, or is anyone else hearing that feedback?
I can hear the feedback also.
You can hear it also, okay. Okay, thank you for maybe joining us, for those who've just joined. Sorry, I think the quality of that video wasn't ideal. So maybe I'll ask just the speakers to mute themselves just for a moment, just to see if that makes a difference for the feedback. And in the meantime, I'm just going to introduce our speakers. You're here at the session on building a resilient and sustainable economy. And I'm delighted to be here representing RREUSE. Like I said, we're a network of social enterprises. And yeah, sorry, I'm just getting some feedback if people wouldn't mind muting their microphones for a second. Sorry for the speakers, if you don't mind. If it makes a little bit of a difference. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be speaking about different themes on resilience, and I'm delighted to be here with Nicolas Lebeau, who is the Deputy Director of Digital Equipments and Sales from Atelier du Bocage, Emmaus. I'm also here with Sasha Taylor, who is the CEO of the Bike Station in Edinburgh. And I'm here with Olga Theodorikakou, who is the Secretary General of Climax Plus in Greece. And also Kelly Piron is my colleague from the RREUSE network. Kelly is going to be doing a great job of keeping an eye on the chat for us this morning, making sure that you're feeling included no matter where you're joining us from. So please don't hesitate to give any questions or comments as this morning goes on. And thank you, sorry for the technical difficulties with the video. We're going to also post it, and Kelly has already posted in the link for you to share. So luckily you've had a little bit of an introduction to what some of our over 1,000 members in RREUSE have been up to this year alone. And I want to speak with maybe Sasha Taylor from the Bike Station in Edinburgh first. Sasha, it's really nice just to hear a little bit about your story, about the Bike Station story, and maybe a little bit about how you're contributing to sustainability through your actions.
Thank you for that, Elaine. Is the sound okay?
Perfect. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the Bike Station has been operating in Edinburgh and Perth for the last 20 years, and our mission is to make Scotland the best place to cycle. But we do that by redirecting bikes which would be destined for landfill. Bikes are donated to us, and we collect from landfill on average about 10,000 bikes a year. And we refurbish those with refurbished component parts, and we put them back onto the streets of Edinburgh and Perth. We also upskill. So we will encourage anybody to be able to look after their own bike, but we also take that right up to industry standard Velotech, providing people with jobs within the Bike Station to refurbish bikes, contributing to the green economy and circular economy. We have had a really interesting year this year, and COVID has provided us with some challenges and some opportunities. And when for us, it has been a time for us to really focus on what we do very well. We were really fortunate to be considered essential business by the Scottish Government, so bike shops were allowed to be open, and as a result, us as a social enterprise that focused on the sale of refurbished bikes, were able to provide a direct response to the public health crisis in Scotland. During that time, we moved to a contingency plan, and that contingency very much focused on our core activities. And I think returning to that very central part of our activity for us has enabled us to be able to continue to respond going on and going forward. We also had an opportunity to consider what we could do from our sort of charitable perspective, and we decided to launch Hero Bikes. One of the things that we found in Scotland with COVID is that there was a restriction on public transport and a requirement to remain at home, apart from our key workers. And we wanted them to be able to get around safely and affordably, and also give them a sense of, I guess, freedom and an opportunity to decompress at a time which was really stressful and so restrictive. So we launched Hero Bikes, which was free bikes to key workers, which also provided them with helmets, locks and lights, both in Perth and Edinburgh. And that for us was really key to being able to secure and sustain our own and stabilise our own finances, but also being able to respond publicly as well. And then when I was thinking about your question then, and thinking about how we've contributed sustainably, it was also thinking about our team, because the work that our team have done over the last 9 months has been formidable, but being able to really be able to sustain their activity, for them to be part of it when everybody has had individual and personal challenges, both in terms of whether they've needed to shield, whether or not they've got dependents, their own changes in circumstances, and actually be able to build and sustain that team to deliver. You know, that has been really humbling to see kind of what support's been needed there as well. And, you know, there's a theme, and it's like building on what's strong, you're being flexible and really focusing on what matters. So yeah, it's been a really interesting time for us.
Gosh, thank you so much, Sasha, for that insight. It's really, yeah, so commendable. So thank you for that. And Nicola, I might ask the similar question to you about Atelier de Bocage Emmaus. How have you been contributing to resilience or sustainability?
Nice to be there to contribute to RREUSE and this nice event. Our company was born, it's a cooperative company in the movement Emmaus, as you said, and we were born on our territory because it was a depressed territory after a restructuration of industry. And the major topic was that of employment, a lot of unemployment, and people really getting out of the society with a lot of exclusion. And the job of Atelier du Bocage Emmaus has been to develop a social business, but it's also an environmental business. And we have the ISO 14001 certificate also, because we are in a professional process. We have a factory there involved in circular economy with 150 people, and 57 of those people are hired in a special contract, which is a really inclusion contract to go back to work after more than 2 years unemployment, with a special social workers to accompany, to coach those people in their project. They are coming in our company to restart a working life on a good human relations, and they can build their own professional project within the company with social workers aside them, which is good, because for instance, what we are doing mainly is refurbishing digital equipments, smartphones, it can be also computers. And when those people come to our factory, maybe they want to have another project, personal project, professional project. It can be to be, I don't know, be a butcher or be a, but they haven't been working for long, and they have to restart again to get confidence and to go back to, I would say, a good life for the examples they bring to their son and child and so on. So what we do is we provide employment to people on exclusion, and we are struggling against the waste abuse and all the waste excess, because we collect many digital equipments to give them a second life in the reuse process. And we promote reuse all over France for all those devices. And the devices, we sell them on multi-channel retail solutions. So we have 4 stores to sell the digital equipment refurbished, and also digital solutions such as marketplaces and so on. And we always try to bring the values in the business we have. The values are the values of Emmaus, which is to share profitability. This is very important for us. No excess in the difference between the lowest salary wages and the highest wages in the company. It's only 1 to 3 record. And we act on our territory with all the other social actors to try to bring to face and address all the problems of employment in the territory. We are based in the western part of France, and what is important is to bring hope on the territories, because we need Europe, we need French government, we need administrations, institutions to put the rules and to set the rules and regulations to make life possible in our country, on our territory. But I think that hope will be brought back bottoms up and not top down. So what we need to do is to bring that hope on the territory. We are working close to Emmaus organization. We are working close to social centers, libraries, social workers all over the territory, in maybe 100 kilometers around.
Fantastic. So much in there, Nicolas. Thank you. There, you mentioned about kind of social supports as well as coaching, and this kind of leads us nicely into hearing a little bit about that in general. Climax Plus, Olga featured in the video as well, and Olga, your social cooperative has also launched a radio for mental health during COVID-19, and also specific supports for including Roma people and supporting Roma people. So just to maybe give us an insight, Olga, into what lessons you've learned on resilience with Climax Plus.
Hi, Elaine. Hello, all, and thank you for having the opportunity to contribute to this fruitful event. Well, at first, I believe that most of us know that resilience is in the core of social economy, in the core of our work. Our social cooperative, Climax Plus, since 2005, aims to develop sustainable and evolving these business activities in the direction of social and green economy by improving the quality of life, supporting the socio-economic rehabilitation, and enhancing the social participation of socially excluded persons. So through our activities, recycling, reuse and upcycling activities, catering services and specialized consulting services, our web radio also, and by practically and institutionally implementing a participative governance model, we work for the change. We work for a world where solidarity and collective action overthrow the causes of exclusion and inequalities. Climax Plus's members and employees at the same time, being ex-homeless, Roma, ex-prisoners, refugees, people with mental disorders, etc., not only themselves vitalize this transformation, this transition to a more equal, a more cohesive and sustainable society, but also serve as positive role models for their communities and excluded population groups, and multiply the positive results for their lives into their micro-societies. So during these difficult times of the COVID-19 pandemic, as you have seen also in our video, in RREUSE's video, Climax Plus's members have immediately developed a network for the support of the underprivileged and the secluded ones by providing supplies and a communications path, being there, providing services to Roma communities, supporting excluded people to get along during the lockdowns. We know that social economy actors have always been pioneers of adaptation in crisis situations, showing their strong ability to adapt and deliver during difficult times. However, we believe that this is a time to promote our visibility and earn what is long needed for the further development of the sector. For example, we have seen that in Greece, where the social state failed to provide the requisite safety net for the society and the most underprivileged, our activities and interventions showed that collective initiative and collective work can protect those that need this protection. You know, coming from Greece, a country where for more than the past 10 years, the financial crisis had devastating effects in the society, we have seen in practice the resilience of our work and our potential to develop sustainable economic activities in the framework of solidarity economy principles.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you so much. You mentioned really about, you know, now is the time to promote visibility. And it's so true. It's so important that we're not excluding people further that were already probably excluded before the crisis. And this is something I wanted to ask Nicola. In terms of Atelier de Bocage, your work you mentioned already, making sure that you're not excluding people further from the digital era or digital transition. How do you make sure that you're really reaching out to the people that are often excluded? And when we're speaking about the recovery of Europe and resilience in general, how do we make sure that we include people, and how do you feel social enterprise can support this?
I want to make a statement of what are the three major difficulties in digital exclusion. One is equipment. Second one is connection. You have to be connected somewhere. And the third one is skills. You have to be, you need skills to be able to connect to somewhere and to do something on the digital relation to administrations and so on, or to with your employer or with your family to get in touch and so on. So what we are doing is we are in an ecosystem within the Emmaus movement. We have relations with telco operators, just like Orange, SFR, and big operators. And then we collect equipments within those operators or big companies. We refurbish all the equipments, and then we work with people like Emmaus Connect in France. They are really on the territory, linked to the people needing equipment. So they qualify the people. It's difficult to just send equipment just like this to anybody. You have to qualify also the real need for digital equipment. So the qualification is made by partners just like Emmaus Connect, and then we also sell on a social marketplace, which is named Label Emmaus, and this marketplace wants to bring a new model in the way you can do e-commerce. What Emmaus is trying to do with this is that we are trying to empower the society and the people with digital help and digital leverage to better to improve the impact they can have on the social economy. Because you know what happens is that usually people don't really think digital when they are in a little bit excluded and aside the society. And with the pandemic, we've seen how important it was, what we call the fracture numérique, or what we call the digital exclusion. For example, as I said in the video, we've been solicited so much by social care, by big organizations just like nationwide organizations needing equipment to really help people get in touch with the school, get in touch with elder people, so that they can keep also a link to their families. Students in the university, as I said, also more than 300 PCs, computers have been sent. So it's been this year. All the values we want to share have been so much highlighted. So it was a really meaningful pandemic for us, and hopefully we try to build another world. We would like the world, what we call the monde d'après, the world after. We would like this world to be different and to really work on resilience. We need this resilience with the partners of the social economy. This is very important, that we need the help also of the governments. We need help of Europe to build the right regulations for us to get the best part and the bigger part of the digital waste. This is important because if you let the market play its role alone, then people will always want to make money with the waste if they can make money. And it is a responsibility for big companies, for big administrations, to think that when the first life of the digital equipment is over, then you have to think of partnerships with social economy to make it refurbished and go for a second life. I think it's very important.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's crucial, like you said, to have the right partners, and like you said, if we're wanting to create a different world, this is absolutely essential. Sasha, I might, leading on from this, ask you, when you're speaking also earlier about a social business, how did it go about this year for you, for conversations with maybe your donors or stakeholders or customers, when you had to change or maybe change the model? How did that feel, or how was that looking for the bike station?
Thank you for that, Elaine. Do you know, I've been thinking a lot about the kind of the climate in which sits within Scotland, and it's an organisation that's both a registered charity and a limited company, and also one which is completely committed to the green economy in terms of the recycle and reuse. It really put us in an interesting position when we were looking at how we might be able to contribute to the public health crisis, and also how we might be able to survive. And the really two key things for us is the fact that we are entirely reliant on donated bike stock. It's the entire function of what we do. And the two sources that we have for that are, as I mentioned, the collection from recycling centres where people have discarded those bikes, and also people bringing their bikes directly to us. And it puts us in a really interesting position because when we were finding safe ways to operate, initially we asked the public not to bring donations to us, and Scotland was in lockdown, so people weren't able to leave their homes either. So that immediately put a challenge for us in terms of our stock. The other thing for us that's interesting is that cycling is selling bikes tends to be a seasonal. A seasonal income. People tend to buy bikes in the summer, and we don't tend to make very many sales in the winter. So we'd just come out of winter where our cash flow is already a little bit rocky. Thinking ahead, and then we have to lock down. We know we're not getting in donated stock, and many of our team have to go home because they're shielding. But what we do know we have is some income coming in for our charitable work. But again, we know that that's not possible because we're not able to go out into the community and deliver our skills-based programs because, again, the country is locked down. So our forecasts were looking terrifying. And I was having those conversations with our board about our future. And it was interesting to kind of go through that systematically. So first I spoke with our funders, and I was like, we're not going to be able to deliver the activity that we said we were going to do this year by the looks of it. But I still want your money, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but give me a week. And then going and speaking with the team and us talking about, well, what are our strengths? What can we do? And we had built up bike stock over winter. We don't make the sales in the same way. So we had a warehouse full of bikes. And that's when we decided to launch Hero Bikes, where we said, you know what, we'll just give these away to key workers. We'll give them the equipment for that. And we had support from kind of corporate support, people donating hats and locks, things like that to us. So, that put us in a good position to be able to respond and secure some finances to our grant income. But then when it came to opening back up to the public, because bike shops were allowed to be open as essential business, the major challenge was that we could only, every weekend, we would only open one day a week, which enabled us to build as many bikes as possible from our residual stock. And the challenge was that we sold out by 10 o'clock in the morning of all the bikes that we built. So the supply demand was unbelievable. But the thing that has managed to sustain us, which I find really interesting, is we still sell everything that we build, But where the commercial bike shops that rely on manufacture and the supply chains from overseas in terms of new stock have really struggled. If you look to buy a new bike now in Scotland, you'll be waiting until January next year. Where our commitment to recycling and reuse has been so strong is the fact that when we were able to safely take donations again, the donations of bikes, it has meant that we've had a steady supply of recycled stock that we've been able to refurbish and put out there. And again, for us, it's just really shown the benefits of having a model that doesn't rely on, traditional kind of supply chains, and being able to work in a small kind of condensed way to be able to respond. And then also being able to show people that show our funders and show our community and show other corporate businesses that actually, you can also support us and we can make those bikes for free for people that really need them. So it's been a really interesting challenge for us, just trying to maneuver and being able to stabilize, but then also really seeing the benefits of being able to have that type of response. So.
Fantastic, and an absolute brilliant example of how the circular economy and social economy is really creating local jobs. It's also, good for environment, good for people, and I think this is something that we would like to see, in the Social Economy Action Plan, which next year will be released. And Olga, I know you mentioned earlier about the context of Greece. It seems quite different in terms of support from Scotland or certainly from France. I just wonder if you could share a little bit of insight in what needs to be done, either from Greece or from an EU level, if it's not coming from your government.
Well, the Greek government does not provide support schemes for the employment in the social economy sector. And until now, the government did not provide support measures specifically for the social economy sector. In fact, in the first period of the pandemic, social enterprises were excluded from the relief financial support. So this is where European Union and its institutions should mobilize the state actors in national level and set the framework that will ensure that social economy has all those incentives, leverage instruments, and support measures that we need in order to thrive. In Greece, traditionally, European funds were the necessary catalysts for the implementation of socioeconomic interventions. So social economy's highly innovative nature and its transformative drive and its socioeconomic importance must be harmonized and practically captured in investments and financial tools. Our cooperative works in the direction of the Green Deal before the Green Deal, and we cannot speak about resilience and sustainability excluding the social dimension and the governance methods of economic activities. It's really important, for example, that the Recovery and Resilience Facility of the Commission identifies social economy as one of the 14 industrial ecosystems for the recovery, but the elaboration and implementation of the plans at national level should be monitored, and adequate guidance should be given to the national actors in order to regulate the provisions needed for the social economy sector. Investment funds should also be available for all those wonderful, dynamic, sustainable and evolving business initiatives of the sector, initiatives that their impact in social, environmental and economic level is measured and is high. Ethical finance in this time is needed more than ever, and social and sustainable investments should be supported under specific schemes designed to address the different dimensions of our work. And lastly, currently several members allow for reduced VAT rates on goods and services, contributing to social welfare, social inclusion, and the move towards a circular economy. Such initiatives must be further encouraged across the EU in order to support longer lasting products, less waste, and the creation of local green and inclusive jobs. So reduced or zero VAT rates on activities of general interest contributing to social inclusion and social welfare must be promoted.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you so much for that insight. And I know it's incredibly difficult to answer questions that are, so specific to different countries. But I think, now is absolutely the time for us as social economy actors and circular economy to connect these dots that, these opportunities that are coming from within our countries and also from a European perspective. And Nicola, I might also ask you about kind of what policy can support in terms of smartphones or electrical items. Just give you an insight into what kind of policy frameworks you would like to see.
Well, indeed, when we are thinking about support we can get from institutions and so on, and especially Europe, is to help us at two levels. The first level is in all the public purchasing policies, we need to have a social economy clause, so that social economy can be a leverage to get the best of the public purchasing policies. This is one part which is maybe in terms of purchasing, it can be of real interest for us to regulate this. And second regulation would be more on the waste management, because it's really important for all the flow of waste to be treated by social economy, to be refurbished by social economy, because we create more jobs, we create more, we share the added value. And as Olga said, we need also the finance to be more directed towards social economy. We need social and welfare finance. We need also people in Europe to put their money also in social finance, because there are some financial parts that are, or organizations that are really financing our sectors, and they are trying to be to build this resilient economy we're talking about. So what is needed is maybe obligation for reuse priority for all the equipment, because so we don't want waste to be exported to poor countries. What has been done for many years, digital waste was sent to India or to Africa, which is a disaster, ecological disaster for the environment and also for the economy. We can create more jobs here if we deal with our proper waste. And second would be more try to give incentives to address the best. I said before, the best part in terms of quality, and the bigger part in terms of volumes of digital waste, toward to organize that social economy and social businesses are the first to get this this quality, because there is also a danger is that as we are social economy, we get the worst part of the waste, and people sometimes think, oh, they are in the social economy, so they can get the real bad part of the waste, and then it's totally obsolete, and then you cannot really refurbish too old equipment. So we also need the good quality refurbishment industry to be built within the social economy business. And then therefore, I think that we are a good partner for a transition on territories, just like the Rob Hopkins has been getting this very popular transition movement in Europe. And we are part of this transition. We are leaders in that transition, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Nicola. It is true that that we have so much expertise in these areas. We have the right partnerships, the right connections, and the trust. And like you said before, like you've all said, that we're also showcasing the resilience in so many different ways. Which, I would really encourage those who joined us a little bit later, and to please have a look at the video. It's in the chat and it's some incredible stories of resilience. And yeah, I suppose as the event, and now we're coming to the end of it, I wanted to just finally kind of ask our speakers, what is kind of your long-term vision for the social economy when it comes to, you know, rebuilding Europe again? So maybe Sasha, if you wouldn't mind, just a kind of a final word for the participants watching.
I'll try not to lament about Scotland's relationship with Europe and how all devastated we are at that decision. So I'm sure I feel some solidarity here in that session for that. But for us specifically, thinking forward, there's really, I think, a continued opportunity for the visibility of our type of organised and our social enterprise to really be, you know, very clear about how what on the surface might look like just refurbishing bike stock is actually about social justice and about reducing the gaps in inequality that have been exacerbated by COVID. You know, by focusing for us very much on, you know, our strengths and then thinking about how we can respond during COVID, it's enabled us to really springboard and really think about the changes that we want to be able to see and make that very visible at a time where in Scotland all businesses closed. The responses fell down to the third sector and to the voluntary sector, you know, and the social enterprises again, you know. So for us, it's been a real opportunity to be able to celebrate what we can do at a time when many organisations and businesses couldn't, and for us to have that kind of ongoing commitment to being able to use our bikes, you know, and no pun intended, but as a vehicle for change, and being able to think about how we can continue to respond to do that. So we'll be using our bikes to be able to upskill people and provide green jobs, work placements, paid work placements with us, because we foresee that bikes and active travel will continue to be a mode of transport moving forward, and one that we will celebrate, and really thinking about making sure that we're targeting and providing opportunity to the people who we know who've been hardest hit in the last 9 months, which is, you know, women and our BAME communities and the young and unemployed. So for us, it's just an opportunity to continue doing what we do well, but really like focusing that support on the communities that need it most. Albeit now in Scotland as opposed to Europe-wide.
Thank you so much, Sasha. And I think Sasha had mentioned to me during the week, you know, that often in times of crisis as well, in COVID, it can be where we kind of can be in quite an internal focus. And, you know, that's absolutely not what the social economy is about. And I think events like today, and also just gathering to have these discussions, they're really important, because like Sasha said before, it's all about kind of celebrating this collective achievement and, you know, bringing things back better as well and creating a better world. You know, absolutely, whether it's a European context, whether it's at a national level. So thank you so much, Sasha, for that and for your insight. And Olga, if you have any also kind of thoughts on your vision, that maybe anything else you'd like to share with us.
Yes, I think that the announcement of the action plan for the social economy was a very important step, a long-awaited step, and it's an important component for us that will give us the opportunity to be further developed, maximize our impact, but we need it to be ambitious, proportional to our role for the social progress, and also inspiring. A remark I always make in similar discussions, because there is an energetic dialogue for the development of tools to assess and quantify our impact in the socioeconomic sphere. And this is very much needed, but we must always have in mind that we are not the ones or the only ones that have to prove our effectiveness. Our day-to-day work captures what we bring to social cohesion and the struggle for more sustainable and resilient societies. As we all said, I think access to finance is of vital importance. And in this framework, maybe we should put more efforts in the sustainable public procurements framework. And lastly, I think that we will come out stronger from this challenge. And I think this is the essence of resilience. This crisis has the potential to be a drive for the necessary change in our socioeconomic paradigm. So social economy is the model that reflects all the dimensions of what kind of societies and economies we need to work for. So I think we need to build on that and have the strength and the tools that will help us be proactive and ensure that our impact is maximized.
Thank you so much, Olga. Thank you. And Nicola, how about yourself? I see you nodding and smiling away to Olga. So just a final word on your vision for the social economy.
Just because Olga, what she was saying was so good. And we need, well, I would like to end my contribution with only 4 words. One word is ambition. Olga said we need to be ambitious because social economy brings, my second word is hope. We bring hope to people because we are based on good human relationships, fair trade, fair economy, fair conditions of work for people. We share the value we create, and this is important. So my second word was hope. Third word is innovation. We need to innovate. Innovation power within the social economy is great. So I think that innovation is one big deal for us. And maybe the last word is trust. We can bring back trust in our societies. And when we see many evolution in, I would say even in the political world, with populism and so on, trust is something which is to be we have to focus on trust, and we have to spend energy to bring back trust in the social relations, in the relation between the people and the states, the people and the institutions, so that we can again try to have people think collectively, cooperation, not competition, cooperation, collaboration. And I really believe that this can be the new values for the future. And I'm so sad to see that Sasha with Scotland will leave Europe. And I think that the major topics are at the world level, and we need to be all together in dealing with this. And as I said, we need rules at the high level and hope at the low level, at the territory level. And this then will bring the trust, hope, innovation, ambition. That's my final word.
Wonderful. Trust, hope, ambition, innovation. Thank you so much to all of our speakers this morning, this afternoon. We are really grateful. Thank you, Sasha, Nicola, Olga. Thank you, Kelly, who's been keeping an eye on the chat. And the session will probably close now, so I hope you all enjoy lunch. And again, just a huge thanks from the RREUSE network for all those who featured in the video. The Edinburgh Makery, in Scotland, part of CRNS, the Mask Force Arbeit Plus in Austria, and we work closely with Repinet as well, the Rediscovery Centre of CRNI in Ireland, Climax Plus, of course, Atelier de Bocage, and the Bike Station, Edinburgh. We're so grateful for your time. And thank you, everybody. And thanks, Kelly, for your support. Please don't hesitate. If you have any last questions, we'll keep an eye on the chat. And have a great day. And RREUSE will be doing another event in March as part of the Road to Mannheim on sustainable consumption and circular economy. So please do keep an eye on our social media, and we're looking forward to furthering the conversation with you then. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Great.